every moment of their quest on the ESPN LA Lakers radio network. Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo dribbling left, down the middle, all the way. Teardrop by Lonzo, good.
Julius Randle.
Randle's got to shoot it, 15-foot fall away, good.
Brandon Ingram.
One to shoot. Ingram gets it off in time and buries it.
The Lakers play here.
Here is Kuzma, another beautiful 360. Turn and score inside. Beautiful pass to Jang. Blocked by Corey Brewer from behind. Lonzo ahead to Ingram. Ingram flying down the middle, lay it up and in.
Very young team, but I just think they're excited to watch these guys play and compete.
It's a new era of Lakers basketball, and you can get closer to the team on the ESPN LA Lakers radio network.
Everyone knows the national debt is now over $20 trillion. What happens next? Rising inflation? Drops in the dollar's value? Some experts say another crash is coming. What will be left of your investments for your children and grandchildren? You can fight this, not with stocks and bonds, but with gold and silver coins in an IRA from Augusta Precious Metals. During periods of great volatility, precious metals regularly outperform stocks because they are true wealth assets that have real value. During the 3-year recovery period after the 2008 crash, the Dow went up only 3.5%, while gold more than doubled in price. Call 888-344-0094 and ask for Augusta's Guide to Gold IRAs. And learn how an IRA, backed by physical gold and silver, can hedge against inflation and build a true legacy for your family. Regain control of your financial destiny. Call Augusta Precious Metals at 888-344-0094 to get your free gold IRA guide. Call 888-344-0094 today. The price of gold and silver fluctuates over time, and you can lose money. Check with financial and legal advisors.
After an off-season of change,
the Los Angeles Lakers select Lonzo Ball.
Lakers basketball is back.
Kuzma right, he got it to Kuzma, foul, and a layup. And Michael, this kid Kuzma is doing everything right. Back to Lonzo. Three-pointer by Lonzo is good.
As far as being a leader, he already is a leader just by playing the way he does.
Rebound Lonzo, backwards to Ingram. Three-pointer by Ingram. Good, now they say it's a two.
On the ESPN LA Lakers radio network. Recapping everything from tonight's Lakers game.
The Lakers Locker Room Report.
On the ESPN LA Lakers radio network.
Lakers lose 113-102. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the ESPN LA Lakers radio network.
Get closer to the Lakers on KSPN Los Angeles. Hear every moment of Lakers basketball on ESPN LA 710 and the ESPN app.
So since they met in the Sweet 16 last year in the college basketball tournament, we've been waiting for the De'Aaron Fox-Lonzo Ball rematch. Didn't happen in the Summer League. Didn't happen during the preseason. This is the first time they played each other during the regular season. Are we done here? Are we done with this? Because they really didn't go at each other. It wasn't like they were taking turns lighting each other up. They both played okay.
Are you saying Lonzo is still ducking De'Aaron Fox?
Yeah, I never really believed. But other than that, they played terribly.
Yeah, I mean, you're tempted at times to say that this is a team that plays down to the level of competition. And, granted, there are not many teams worse than them, but there are some. And they seem to have difficulty getting up against some of those teams. They had a bad loss against the Suns. They could have had a bad loss last night against the Bulls. They had a bad loss tonight against the Kings. I'm seeing some chatter on Twitter at Cam Brothers responding to my saying that this was a god-awful loss. People bringing up, it's the second end of a back-to-back on the road. I don't care. The Kings are an awful team.
It's not like that, and it's
a 1-hour flight.
Right. It's not like they were on an airplane for 7 hours. I mean, come on, folks.
Yeah, I mean, the three of us may have gone to bed later than them.
It's not.
I mean, you have a long commute to
I
Orange
do.
County.
It's all the way back to OC. It's not that they lost. I mean, you go up a second night of a back-to-back, you lose. They were never really outside of the first, I think they were up 8-4. They were not competitive in this game.
No, and Lonzo's numbers are okay, and he played all right, but there really was nobody that you can say, well, at least just a really disappointing game against a bad team. I mean, Sacramento is the second worst team defensively in the NBA, and this is a team that loses on average by 18 points per game, and they had the Lakers down by 20 at one point.
Yeah, again, it feels at times, and this is something Luke Walton has been conscious of, and I know he's talked to this team about. It seems at times like they may actually play down to that level, and their own level is pretty low. Like
Yeah.
they need to remember that. They can at times, when they're playing at their best, hang with good teams, but they're not a good team yet.
113-102 is the final. The Lakers fall to the Sacramento Kings. We're back with more in the Lakers locker room on the ESPN LA Lakers Radio Network.
It's hard to pick out the perfect gift, but all too easy to get it totally wrong. Introducing mancrates.com, the surest way to find awesome gifts guys will love, guaranteed. This isn't a lame cheese of the month club or a new tie. Man Crates offers gift collections for every type of guy, from the family man to the sports fanatic and everything in between. Like the Grill Master crate with a brass knuckle meat tenderizer and a cast iron smoker box. Just go to mancrates.com, pick the perfect crate, and choose your delivery date. When his man crate arrives, he'll be the envy of every guy in the room as he pries that bad boy open with his own laser engraved crowbar. They have thousands of 5-star reviews, and every man crate comes with their high five guarantee. Own the holidays. Go to mancrates.com/ESPN for 5% off your order. They don't offer a discount anywhere else. 5% off at mancrates.com/ESPN for the best deal on an awesome gift. mancrates.com/ESPN.
Hi, I'm Darla from Cintas.
Oh, thank goodness you're here. We have so much to do. I need fire extinguishers, right?
We'll place them for you and be out for regular inspection.
Great. And what about my new hires?
We'll get them into uniforms and keep them looking sharp.
What about this first aid cabinet?
Fully stocked.
It wasn't this morning.
It is now. And so are the restrooms.
Wow, Cintas really seems to know what we need.
You said it.
Oh, I'm ready!
Learn how Cintas can help you get ready for the workday. Visit Cintas.com.
TCU controls their own destiny for the second spot. A win puts them in the Big 12 title game.
We got work to do, but we've got one more ball game. Give ourselves an opportunity to play one more time.
You have to look at TCU when you don't say the word defense very much in the Big 12, except for Gary Patterson and that school.
Baylor travels to Fort Worth to take on 12th-ranked TCU. Coverage begins Friday morning at 11 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Presented by Dr. Pepper.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Black Friday's over, but not at Ace, where you can get big savings all weekend. Get up to 50% off select gifts throughout the store. Plus, save 50% on 300-count Celebrations LED Christmas lights, now just $9.99 after instant savings. And for even more savings, print out our online coupon to save $10 on your purchase of $50 or more. This weekend only at your neighborhood Ace. Coupon valid on November 25th and 26th. Limit 1. Exclusions apply. Lights offer valid for Ace Rewards members at participating stores.
Now this is a great present. At Metro PCS, get a year of Amazon Prime on us when you switch and get a free Samsung Galaxy J7 Prime with a select plan. Stream your favorite movies, TV shows, music, and much more, all at your fingertips. Metro PCS. Wireless figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions. 1 year of Amazon Prime has a $99 value.
It's the Lakers Locker Room Report.
Lakers basketball is the final.
Recapping everything from tonight's Lakers game on the ESPN LA Lakers Radio Network.
113-102, that's the final score. The Kings beat the Lakers, and I'm sure we'll hear from him before the end of our postgame show, but you wonder what Luke Walton is going to say to his guys tonight when you have a game like that, because what do you say when a bad team hands you your lunch?
I think it's go home and think about what you've done. Like, you talk to them like I would talk to my
It doesn't work on everybody, by the way.
But it's just like, this... I think the Lakers have a group, at least the way they talk about them, that kind of they do learn lessons relatively well, and I think there is some teachable stuff that comes after the comeback against Chicago to understand it starts over every single game. There is no carryover from one great half to the next game. You have to get ready and bring it again the next night, and they just didn't do it.
No, they didn't, and I'm wondering if not to channel LeVar Ball here, but would a blow-up be appropriate after a game like this? Would the quote-unquote tough coaching?
I think Luke would have the ability to let the loss speak for itself. I mean, like, what is he going to say that wouldn't be otherwise clear? losing by 11 to Sacramento in a game that wasn't really even that close.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what Walton would say that they hopefully don't already feel.
I think it's whatever gets the best reaction. If you're a screamer and a yeller, this is the kind of game where maybe you just, all right, guys, let's go get on the plane. And you don't say anything, and then they're all like, "Whoa, he must be really mad. He didn't even yell at us." And if you're not a yeller, maybe it's the one where you do.
Opposite.
And Walton's
not
a yeller.
Jordan.
No. Walton is definitely not a yeller.
No, and again, maybe it's just so disappointing that they lost a game to the Kings. That they were due for a clunker. They really haven't had a clunker in a while. They've lost some games along the way.
It looked like it was going to be last night.
Yeah, it did, and they were able to kind of pull out of the nosedive at the last minute, but maybe it's just we played like you-know-what, and let's get on that plane, let's go home, let's enjoy Thanksgiving, let's get back at it again in a few days.
I mean, it's interesting because they've had a lot of slow starts over the course of the season, and some of this, and this is something Mike Trudell has spoken about a lot in covering the team, is, and we talked about the three of us last year a lot, when your starting unit is not as good as the other team's starting unit, or, the top 2 or 3 players in their starting unit are better than your best player, you're going to be in a hole a lot.
Yeah, but that doesn't account for tonight.
No, it doesn't account
for... Because the Kings are the rare exception to that rule
but
for
I'm
the
just
Lakers.
saying, the reason I bring it up, I agree with you, it doesn't account for tonight, but you just start wondering about, okay, is this starting unit the right combination?
I understand what you're saying, Andy, but I think the flip of that is I don't think that
I don't even know if the right combination exists.
I was about to say, I don't think changing the combination is necessarily it. But what I do think this conversation kind of illustrates is, the expectations are higher for this team than others. And when they come out and they play a bad game against in a winnable game against a team that's not as good as they are, for them to do it, I think is disappointing because we officially now, us in this room, and I think Lakers fans as well, expect more.
Yeah. 113 to 102. We'll talk about maybe changing those combinations. We'll do that next. We invite you to stay with us for more on our post-game coverage on our flagship station, ESPN LA 710. This has been the Lakers Locker Room on the ESPN LA Lakers Radio Network.
You've been listening to the Lakers Locker Room Report.
Brought to you by
Universal Studios Hollywood.
Spend Christmas at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, November 24th through January 7th, only at Universal Studios Hollywood.
Catch the Lakers Locker Room Report recapping what went down after every Lakers game on the ESPN LA Lakers Radio Network.
Hi, I'm a helpful Southern California Honda person, and recently we've been doing random acts of helpfulness, like buying gifts for families and bringing a daughter in the Navy home for the holidays. And during the Happy Honda Day sales event, we can help you too with a great deal on an award-winning Honda, like the Accord, a 2017 Car and Driver 10 Best a record 31 times. Click the dealer locator link to find a dealer near you, and go to SoCalHondaDealers.com to suggest a random act of helpfulness for someone you know. Car and Driver, January 2017.
If you want to protect your home this holiday season, listen up. This is very cool. My listeners now have early access to Simply Safe's biggest Black Friday sale ever. $200 off Simply Safe's holiday security system. This is a true bestseller, a 13-piece arsenal that covers your whole home. If you want to protect your family, this should be how you do it. Simply Safe has made everything about security effortless. You barely lift a finger. Just order it online. It's delivered right to your door with free shipping. It takes less than an hour to set up. A 10-year-old can do this. Simply Safe has no long-term contracts, no pushy sales guys, no hidden fees. The prices are honest and fair. $15 a month for best in industry 24/7 alarm monitoring. And with Simply Safe, you're never locked in. Go right now to simplysafefootball.com and get $200 off your system. Hurry, this offer ends soon, and these systems will fly off the shelves. That's simplysafefootball.com for $200 off. simplysafefootball.com.
It's time for your first chance to react to tonight's Lakers game. Lakers basketball is a final tonight at Golden One Center. This is the Land Rover postgame show, recapping everything from tonight's bout on ESPN LA 710 and the ESPN app.
Your Southern California Land Rover retailers. Visit them for special lease and finance offers. Land Rover, above and beyond.
Were the Lakers able to make it back-to-back wins? Did Lonzo make magic? And your reaction, 877-710-ESPN. The Land Rover postgame show tips off now. Here's Travis Rogers and Andy Kamenetsky.
113 to 102 is the final score. The Lakers lose to the Kings, and Mike Trudell just tweeted a couple of minutes ago. It says, Luke Walton expected to have Larry Nance Jr. back after the Thanksgiving holiday, ready for the next game. Will confirm over the weekend at practice. So if Larry Nance is available to come back, and Andy, talking kind of piggybacking on what you were talking about, if the Lakers, and I agree with the premise, that if the Lakers are usually the lesser five at the start of a game, is there you put Larry Nance back in there? Not that he's going to take you from where you are to a different spot, but is there a way to change the mix?
Well,
it's
interesting you say that, because on paper, Nance doesn't necessarily seem like a guy who would be that type of difference maker. But if you start breaking down his advanced numbers and go deeper into his effect on the team, nobody. Look at you. Well, I'm prepped for these shows, Brian. I'm searching for answers, man. I'm searching for answers. After you watch the Lakers lose in Sacramento to that garbage squad, you look for answers.
You're like Hermione in the library.
Larry Nance, nobody on this team has a better offensive and defensive rating than Larry Nance Jr. Like, he actually was playing very well before he hurt himself, and he's a good source of cheap, cheap, easy points. And he's probably the team's best defender.
I think what it comes down to, too, is that it gives them one more good player.
Yes.
And whether or not it's Nance in the starting lineup or Kuzma in the starting lineup, who's obviously played very well, it's another good player to add to the rotation. And so, it makes that bench unit that much better, because one of those guys is going to be coming in as a reserve.
Yep.
And it certainly doesn't weaken the starting lineup if you put him in there.
Where do the minutes come from? When he comes back, he's obviously going to play. I mean, we saw Brook Lopez not play very much tonight. He just played 17 minutes. Julius Randle has
Which is interesting,
because
this was a matchup where you would think Lopez would be playing a lot.
You'd want to go bigger, you would think.
Yeah.
And they were not able to do it. So when Larry does come back, whose minutes get cut?
I think Kuzma won't play quite as much. I mean, he'll lose 5 minutes somewhere. I think Lopez will continue to be somewhere in that 18 to 23-minute range. He's not going to play more than that.
Corey Brewer may lose a few.
Corey Brewer might lose a couple, and then Randall loses a few. I mean, he'd been up. Where was he tonight? Around
29 minutes.
Okay,
29.
so he's up around 30 in the last couple games. He's going to go back to that 22 or 23, where the Lakers hope they get a lot of energy and a lot of production in a relatively short period of time.
Yeah, it's the slow starts are a weird thing, because it's not a here and there thing. More often than not, the Lakers get off to a slow start, and I don't know how you go about changing that. If it's not a personnel thing, if you're not going to juggle the starting lineup, what are some other things you can do to try to get a little life out of the gate, because they're behind early in the first quarter almost every game?
I think they need to make sure, particularly with that starting unit with Lonzo, that they maintain the pace and the style that they want to play. Like, it may not be a pure coincidence that against the Bulls and against the Kings, two really lousy teams, they both play really slow. Mm-hmm. They both play a plodding pace. They don't score a lot because they're lousy offenses, but they don't have a lot of possessions. And the Lakers struggle to play at a slow pace. They struggle to play in a half court. And they may have got sucked in a little bit with the way Chicago and Sacramento plays. It's really important that unit, particularly with Lonzo, you want to play to his strengths, you need to be moving up and down the court.
Is that incumbent on the coach or the players to continue to push that pace?
The problem is, though, I think the scouting report is out on the Lakers, Andy, that everybody knows they want to push, and everybody knows they can't play in the half court, and everybody knows they can't shoot. So, if you keep them away from the bucket, the Lakers still, it's not, people think they're just jacking up threes. As a percentage of their shot totals,
yeah,
they shoot more shots at the rim, basically, than any team in the league, and it's really not even close. And they're 25th, 26th in the league in threes per game. They're not shooting an inordinate amount of those outside shots, but teams know that they're going to run. So now maybe you don't crash the glass as much, and the Lakers can defend a little bit, so you push guys back and you make it harder for them to run. And I think increasingly teams are forcing them to play in the half court and taking away that option.
Last year the Lakers, the glorious 10-10 beginning,
10, yeah.
And then everything from injuries to water seeking out its own level affected the team, and they ended up with 27 wins. But we did all notice that after about 15, 20 games, one of the things that happened around the league is people started taking the Lakers seriously, but they also started getting an idea of how they play. Because last year they had a brand new system with Luke Walton. It was the first look at seeing them do anything other than just give the ball to Kobe.
Sure.
And, the rest of the league figures out, okay, this is what they're going to do. Even against bad teams, you still have to know how they play. We're close to that 20-game mark like last year, where all of a sudden you have an idea of how this team with a brand new roster, brand new point guard is going to play. And like Brian said, they're making adjustments to the Lakers. Now it's up to the Lakers to adjust to the adjustments.
It's interesting. This team does not shoot well, and they really don't shoot three-pointers well, but they did both things well tonight. They shot 50% from the field. They were 39 of 78, and they were shot 52% from behind the three-point line today, 15 of 29, and yet they still got run out.
And they at least in the second half, mellowed out on the turnovers a little bit. I mean, usually if the Lakers get a good three-point shooting performance, I think John mentioned it on the radio, the broadcast, that they were 7-1, and now they're 7-2. 7-1 in games where they shot 30% or better from three. Now, keep in mind, that is an incredibly low threshold.
Sure.
30% is not good, but that's how many games they've had in the 20s or the teens where they've been that bad. And so it's only about half their games where they've been 30% or better. And so tonight was weird because they shot the ball well from three and still lost. And in some ways, I think it's just because they gave away too many easy baskets to a Sacramento team that really isn't good offensively.
Well, that's why this game is so weird, because all the things that we have learned to be true through the first 18 games of the season,
19, yeah,
was that this is a good defensive team. They don't shoot particularly well, and they really don't shoot threes particularly well. That the Sacramento Kings can't score, and they give up a ton of points. Everything was the opposite tonight. And so that makes you kind of think that, all right, well, this is just one of those. Zach Randolph is leading the team in scoring for Sacramento with less than 13 points per game. It's like 12.7 per game, which is the lowest in the league by a mile.
It's not because they're like spreading the wealth around.
It's because they stink.
Right,
it's because they stink. And Randolph had 22. Fox had 13. Willie Cauley-Stein had 26. Buddy Hield had 10. Now you're making me do it.
Bogey Bogdanovich?
Bogey Bogdanovich. I wanted to call him Brogdon Bogdanovich. He had 14.
His friends call him Bogey.
Everything about this game was inside out and upside down.
Yeah, the reason I think that this is a really god-awful loss for the Lakers isn't because I think it's necessarily telling or, something's been revealed about them or whatever.
They've been exposed.
Yeah, they've been exposed. We all knew they were not a great team. It's a disappointing loss because this is a winnable game for them, and they want to win games.
It goes back to expectations. I think we've seen enough from this team that, defensively, I don't expect them to stay in the top 5 all year. But they are not.
How far do you think they're going to fall? Because I agree with you, but I don't. They're 15th,
10th, 8th, 5th, 12th, whatever.
Still
what they're not, right? What they're not is the catastrophe that they were last year. Because I think Randall has genuinely turned a corner. I think defensively to where he's gone from kind of bad to pretty effective. And Lonzo is a smart defender, if not a brilliant one-on-one defender. He's a team defender. He's pretty good, and he's got great instincts. KCP gives them a lot on that side. Lopez is a better rim protector than Mozgov was last year. For better, doesn't make him great, but it makes him better. So I don't think they're going to slide all the way down to where they were last year. But I also don't necessarily know how this offense is going to get better, and we expect, I think, in LA now that this group will be better. Ingram's better, Randall's better. All these guys are better. So games like this are disappointing.
McDonald's Defensive Play of the Game is brought to you by McDonald's. Get McDelivery now in the Uber Eats app. Delivery prices may be higher than at restaurants, and a booking fee applies. The Defensive Play of the Game.
Here's De'Aaron Fox, one-on-one against Kuzma. Kuzma gets a hand on it. Kuzma steals it. Kuzma gets it stolen back by De'Aaron Fox. Now Cauley-Stein down the middle, foul and a bucket. So a wild exchange in which Kuzma stole it from Fox. Fox stole it back from Kuzma, gave it to a cutting Willie Cauley-Stein, who went to the rim, laid it up and in, drew a foul, and the foul sends him to the line with Sacramento leading by 14.
That is your defensive play of the game. The Lakers lose 113 to 102. We're back with more on the Land Rover Postgame Show on ESPN LA.
O'Reilly. Improve visibility when you replace your worn wiper blades with a pair of Trico Force, Bosch Icon, or Rain-X Latitude wiper blades during O'Reilly Auto Parts See Better, Drive Safer sale. Plus, get a $15 O'Reilly gift card after mail-in rebate. Get premium blades at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Do you believe that you can win this fight tonight?
Baylor travels to Fort Worth to take on 12th-ranked TCU. Coverage begins Friday morning at 11 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Presented by Dr. Pepper.
Stupid rubber duck.
Oh, I bet this is Mariota's room. Whoa, I get that he went to Oregon, but a pond-themed room seems a little weird.
I was just looking for Mariota.
Hey, what's going on out there?
I told you we should have just gone to HeismanHouse.com, but no, we had to go to the house. We could have voted for this year's Heisman winner from the safety of our computers.
Let's see here. Fire protection?
Check.
Uniforms, mats, and restroom products?
Check.
First aid cabinets and safety products?
Check.
Great! So it sounds like we're ready to go.
No, when I said check, I meant we still need to check on all those things.
Oh, just call Cintas. They can handle all of it. It's what they do.
Okay, call Cintas. Check. Got it.
Oh, I'm ready! Learn how Cintas can help you get ready for the workday. Visit Cintas.com.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
This Friday only, save up to 50% on select gifts throughout the store. Plus, save 50% on 300-count Celebrations LED Christmas lights, now just $9.99 after instant savings. And for even more savings, print out our online coupon to save 50% on a regularly priced item under $30. So save big on Black Friday all day long at your neighborhood Ace. Coupon valid on November 24th, limit 1. Exclusions apply. See coupon. Lights offer valid for Ace Rewards members. Only at participating stores.
It's the Land Rover Postgame Show. Highlights from tonight's Lakers game and your reaction on the Lakers line.
Hi, this is Luke Walton on ESPN LA 710 and the ESPN app.
The Land Rover Postgame Show.
Your Southern California Land Rover retailers. Visit them for special lease and finance offers. Land Rover, above and beyond.
Once again, here's Travis Rogers and Andy and Brian Kamenetsky.
Block of the game is brought to you by Ritz Plumbing. The next time your pipes are all blocked and backed up, the only place to use is family-owned Ritz Plumbing, in business for over 85 years. RitzPlumbing.com, the block of the game, Julius Randle.
Zach Randolph's got it now in the right block. Randolph to a cutting temple, right to Labissiere, who dunked it after he tried once and Randle blocked it. He dunked it again.
Good effort by Randall to get the first block.
But the Lakers still down 15, 62-47.
Kyle Kuzma tonight, guys, had 17 points on 7 of 17 shooting, so not his best game, but also above his season average. He comes in and just a little bit above. He comes in averaging 16.8, which is tops on the Lakers. And Michael and John and I were talking a little bit about this during the pregame show. What do you think the chances are that at the end of the season, Kyle Kuzma is the leading scorer on this team?
I think they're actually pretty high, in part because Kuzma's played beyond, I think, most people's expectations, and also in part, I don't know who else it would be.
That's the bigger one.
Lopez isn't going to get the minutes and has been very inconsistent that way, and other than maybe Ingram, who is slowly developing, you could see making him the kind of second half push.
Well,
I just don't see who else it would be.
I'll take what you're saying, Brian, a step further. Kuzma could be the leading scorer in this team at the end of the season because I guarantee he'll be on the team. Jordan Clarkson could get traded. Brook Lopez could get traded. KCP could get traded. It comes down to, I think, Kuzma or Ingram as the leading scoring candidates, and I think Kuzma's more of just a natural scorer than Ingram, although Ingram could make it close.
Do you think that's going to happen? Do you think that they're going to move those guys? Because, look, if you can't bring the Sacramento Kings, you're not going to float around that 8th spot like I think was maybe a possibility.
Hey, they were the 8th seed going into the game tonight.
That's right. They're no longer in the 8th spot. The Thunder passed them. But do you think that all of those guys are going to go during the season, or do you think they keep them around for
it's interesting. Brian and I were talking about this earlier today on Mason and Ireland, and under normal circumstances, if you're a team like the Lakers that is rebuilding and, trying to get better with a core of young players, you would look to collect more assets if possible, which would mean moving a guy like Lopez, moving a guy like KCP. Jordan Clarkson is young, but if you could potentially get out from under his deal, whatever. But the flip side is they're also trying to showcase themselves to LeBron James, to Paul George, to Boogie Cousins, to other free agents, and looking like a seller at the deadline and having the last 25 or so games potentially be a train wreck is not a good showcase. So I wonder if they're actually going to be the sellers that a lot of people, I think, heading into the season automatically assume they would be.
And it's funny too, Andy, because some of it is related to which player you're talking about. And like Randall is a tricky guy to trade, not because, he's played very well and I think has shown his value, and he's basically been a double-double guy since coming into the league. But any team that acquires him has to be willing to give him the kind of money that he's going to get as a restricted free agent this year. And so you have to know, we get Julius Randle, we got to be prepared to pay him, $17 to $20 million a year for 4 or 5 years. And in this NBA, that's not necessarily out of line, but you got to want to do it. And, do you need Lopez? KCP, honestly, guys, tell me if you disagree, but don't they kind of run that past Rich Paul? If Rich Paul says Kentavious wants to finish the year with a contender, they'll find him a place to go play so they can get a second-round pick or something like a young player, whatever it might be. If they say Kentavious would like to finish the year in L.A., I don't care if somebody's giving you a decent second-round pick. You do it. You keep him there because
unless it's a deal that you just cannot
responsibly mid-round first-round pick or something like that. But if it's just for some random second-rounder or whatever it might be, make Rich Paul happy.
The Lakers have played 19 games, so put that into the equation. And obviously things are going to look different 19 games from now, and then another 38 games from there. You're getting towards the end of the year. So we're roughly a quarter of the season, way through the season, roughly, a little bit less. Does this look like something that those guys are going to want to be a part of? The guys we're talking about, the LeBrons, the Paul Georges. Does this look like the outline? It doesn't have to be perfect, like, I can't, but if you squint, can you see something that those guys want to be a part of?
Here's the problem, though. It's got to be more than squinting. For say...
No, I understand that what I'm saying is, can you see it at all at this point?
Well, not now.
Well, not now if the answer is... If the first thing that they're looking for is, can I win a title with this team right away? If the answer to if that's the first question that they're asking, the answer is probably no. If it's do I want to be on a up and coming team that'll, with me there will be a playoff contender and in a year or two, whatever it might be able to do something special? Yeah, I think you could get to that point because Ingram and Lonzo with Kyle Kuzma and LeBron James and Paul George looks a lot different than what we're at now. Mm-hmm. And those guys aren't, superstars yet, Andy, but they're certainly showing themselves to be very competent players.
It's like what Travis said. If you squint hard enough, can you see it? The less you have to envision it, and the more you can just see what's there and say, okay, I slide in there and I know what's going to happen. The more you actually have to talk yourself into it or sort of, picture the particulars,
right,
the harder I would think it is.
That's my feeling.
Yeah.
I would imagine it's harder.
But again, what's the threshold? Is it, do I need to win a title this year? Because honestly, if you're LeBron and you want to win a title next year,
Philly,
you go to Philly. Yes. Philly. You don't come here. If lifestyle matters a little bit more, obviously he likes it here and all that kind of stuff. And LeBron has said, you know what? Golden State's going to win all the titles.
I'm never going to catch MJ regardless.
Right, and my legacy is basically set with what it is.
Okay, I think that when LeBron's making his decision, if I'm trying to put myself in LeBron's head right now, the only reason I'm going anywhere is to try and win. Right, the money, the marketing, the lifestyle, all those things. LeBron's going to live, a long and prosperous and healthy life wherever, however he wants to do it.
And he can do, his interest in the entertainment industry.
Yes.
He can do that from wherever.
Of course he can. They'll come to him.
But his kids go to school out here. Do you want to get off the plane in February and not have it be 12 degrees?
I get that, but that can't trump wanting to go and have a chance to run down a few more titles. And that's not going to happen in the West because there's too much traffic to get through. His best chance to win is to stay in the East, where he basically might have to beat one good team to get into the finals, maybe two. And if he goes to Philly, they're going to go to the finals every year, assuming that they stay healthy.
And I mean, again, if he can't come here, because that's good for everyone. If he can't come here, I want him to go there because that's totally different than any template we've seen. When he went to Miami, it was with veterans of the same age, and they formed that core, and that's what they did going forward. And, he goes back to Cleveland. He's a little bit older, and it's Kyrie, but Kyrie was still, kind of an established guy. And then he partners with Kevin Love, who's a veteran, and Tristan Thompson, and some of these other guys. This thing is never where you take LeBron James and you put him with the two of the best young players who aren't even 23 years old yet.
Maybe three, depending on if Fultz can actually play.
We haven't
seen
Fultz. You add Covington. You have this thing. They have other assets too to go get stuff.
Do you think LeBron would like the role of elder statesman / mentor to those guys? Or
I actually do.
Yeah, I don't know.
In a sense that these are all really good players. Like, he's not going to be an elder spokesman, in the way that, say, Luol Deng is for the team right now. He's going to be a major part of
Nick
this.
Young was.
Yeah. I mean, these are really talented guys that he's going to be joining up with that actually are going to make his life easier.
Not just in the sense of this is how you go and win a championship in the NBA, but in the sense that, you know what, it won't kill me to go score 16, 18 points a night and I don't want to say cruise and float through it because that's not who he is, but kind of cruise and float through it every once in a while.
I know. I
save myself.
He's 34 years old next year. I think cruise and float is absolutely part of it. And that's why Lonzo actually is such an appealing piece because – and I would put Ben Simmons in this boat too, but I think the idea of playing with a guy like Lonzo, like Ben Simmons, who will hold the ball and do a lot of that stuff, but isn't interested necessarily in scoring 25 points a game. Kyrie is a great point guard, but also wants his, and his is scoring, whereas Lonzo's his is moving the ball.
113 to 102 is the final score. The Lakers lose to the Sacramento Kings. We'll come back and talk more about this and then kind of throw Paul George into the mix too and what that might mean. We'll do that next. Plus, we'll hear from Luke Walton, who spoke with the media after the game. That's all coming up on the Land Rover Postgame Show on ESPN LA.
Now this is a great present. At Metro PCS, get a year of Amazon Prime on us when you switch and get a free Samsung Galaxy J7 Prime with a select plan. Stream your favorite movies, TV shows, music, and much more, all at your fingertips. Metro PCS. Wireless figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions. 1 year of Amazon Prime has a $99 value.
This season, give thanks to the car that helps you get through it. Keep your car running newer, longer at Firestone Complete Auto Care. Get $100 off with a purchase of $500 or more during the Black Friday savings event. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
Offer valid November 22nd through 27th. Eligible tires only. Additional fees may apply where lawful. Subject to restrictions. See store or driveafirestone.com for full details.
Guys, it's Black Friday at the JCPenney Men's Store, and it's time to save big. Doors open Thursday at 2 p.m. for unbeatable deals, like select Arizona denim for just $15. Plus, Stafford Travel Easy Care broadcloth dress shirts, just $9. We've got your style and size in-store and at jcp.com. Hurry in. Get everything you need for less than you think. JCPenney.
Offers represent savings on regular original prices while supplies last. Some exclusions apply. See store at jcp.com for details.
Whew, sorry I'm late. Ready to tee off?
Dude, you're glowing gold.
Yeah, stopped by Shell on the way to the course and got rewarded with instant gold status.
Cool. Does it do anything?
Yeah, it saves me 5 cents per gallon on every fill every day.
Whoa.
And it crushes the long ball. Watch this. Nope, it just saves at Shell.
Get rewarded at Shell when you join the Fuel Rewards program now at fuelrewards.com/gold. Restrictions apply. Active gold status required. Introductory offer valid for 6 months after activation. Limit 20 gallons per transaction at participating Shell stations. See fuelrewards.com/gold for details. Doesn't actually turn bodies gold.
This is the Land Rover postgame show. Highlights from tonight's Lakers game. And your reaction on the Lakers line.
Hey, it's Lonzo Ball on ESPN, LA 710.
Come along for the ride. It's Lakers basketball.
The Land Rover postgame show.
Your Southern California Land Rover retailers. Visit them for special lease and finance offers. Land Rover, above and beyond.
Once again, here's Travis Rogers and Andy and Brian Kamenetsky.
113 to 102 is the final score. The Kings beat the Lakers. The Lakers are now 8-11 on the season. The Kings improved to 5-13, and we were continuing our discussion a little bit there during the break, guys. And Paul George could be a solo arrival, it feels like. Whereas if LeBron comes, he's bringing the cavalry with him.
Yeah, there's no question. He's not showing. Paul George might show up by himself. He's from Palmdale. He, maybe wants to be out here, just, wants to come home. LeBron's only coming with an and.
Right.
And maybe Paul George, maybe someone they trade for, maybe whatever, but he's coming with an and. And that changes the dynamic, too, of what we were talking about before, Andy, about, how good is good enough? What does the team look like? How good does Lonzo have to be? Because there's going to be I'd be shocked if it wasn't LeBron
and it's interesting, too, because, if memory serves, thinking back to the last couple times LeBron's either dealt with free agency, changed teams, or whatever, he's always the last domino to fall.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everything sort of falls before him, and then, LeBron, because he can do this, because he has the options and can do whatever the hell he wants, he waits to see how the dust settles, and then he makes a decision. So it could turn into some ways like a game of chicken around the league. Like, remember when the Knicks were looking to get free agents and Amari Stoudemire eventually said, like, okay, I'll dip my toe in those waters.
Yeah.
And then they eventually ended up with Melo. But, you're looking for the first guy who says yes.
And it's funny because, so what you're talking about there is Paul George comes, the Lakers probably are still holding on to Randall at that point, or at least possible, because you kind of hedge a little bit. But then LeBron is kind of feeling the waters, and he says, okay, you know what? Make the room, and I'll get there. Now all of a sudden the Lakers have to make 4 trades to make the room.
I was going to say, and then it gets
in.
really interesting if during that period where they're waiting to see, LeBron's waiting to see what they do, they're waiting to see what LeBron does, Julius Randle, as a restricted free agent, gets
signed an offer sheet. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, okay, we've got 5 balls in the air at once, and we've got 48 hours to make a decision.
And
because if memory serves, right, isn't restricted free agency the matching period is shorter?
They've shortened it, but
it's shorter now.
And I think what the answer is to that, fortunately, if LeBron's in the equation, is all right. Which of those things result in LeBron being here?
Yeah.
So at least you don't have to weigh too much.
Do you think he's made up his mind?
No, I don't think. No, absolutely.
Why I don't either. Yeah, I don't think he has, but I think he has to at least have an inkling of what he wants and where he wants it. Like the idea that he's completely open for business. It's stay in Cleveland or these 2, maybe 3 teams, right?
I buy he's got a list. I buy he's got an idea of 4 or 5 cities that are appealing to him.
By the way, it should be noted, I wouldn't say quietly because nothing he ever does is quiet, but Cleveland's won 6 in a row.
Yeah,
they're
doing
11-7 now. They're starting to play a little bit.
But he's still having to do an enormous amount of lifting to get them there. I think that's the bigger issue than whether they win or lose.
If I were him, having done what I've done, what is it, 7 in a row now that he's been in the finals?
Yeah.
7 in a row now, having not just getting to the finals, but having to be the guy that takes you there, or at least at best case scenario, you're carrying an equal load to a Dwayne Wade or whatever it is for a period of time, but you're never just a guy that's along for the ride. To go through a regular season at least where you could just be along for the ride would be tremendously appealing to me.
And it lengthens his career. I mean, it's an enormous amount of effort and work, Andy, that he's had to put in. Same way that Kobe played extra seasons worth of playoff basketball.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about the Sixers as a potential destination, but just forget location, forget creature comforts, whatever. If you just looked at the basketball situation and the ability to sign somewhere and who's there, the Sixers to me would look like the no-brainer choice for LeBron. Like even if he likes Cleveland, I'd be screw this, I'm going to Philadelphia. But when you start thinking about the particulars of Philadelphia versus the Lakers for LeBron, if LeBron comes to the Lakers, unless they win at least one title, maybe 2, but at least one, he's always going to be LeBron James, but he kind of becomes another dude with the Lakers. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of the historical impact, and, like, you look at all the greats and all these, all-time legends who played with the Lakers and what they did. Like, he's never going to be considered...
If he doesn't win a championship, he's not one of those guys.
Right, he's never... Like, do you know how hard it will be for LeBron to really make an impact that you remember with the Lakers versus Philly? I mean, maybe he's never Dr. J, maybe he's never Iverson, but he can pass like Barkley.
I agree. I think that has to be a piece of it too, because you're right. To come here and be a dude that played here for a while,
and who's going to play here for the max for like 3 years?
Right.
He's not playing more than 3 or 4 years.
Right. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, again,
exactly
he's always going to be LeBron. It's not like he's going to be forgotten that he was here. But you're stacking your time with the Lakers against Kobe, Magic, West, Kareem, Shaq, James Worthy. Like, if you don't win a title, you're not as great a Lakers Pau Gasol.
And but the Kobe thing, I think, is a huge one, because he's still going to be the first star, the first superstar to show up here in the post-Kobe era. And in the back of their minds, there are going to be a lot
I've been told by 2 different people that they have one. Transcendent player, face of the franchise. I've been told this.
But don't you think in the back of some people's heads, there'll be people who kind of are nervous that LeBron could come in and do, eclipse a little bit of the Kobe thing?
I don't think he can take one single bit of Kobe's shine.
I agree with
No,
Travis.
but I just think that there are people who be almost,
they'll be defensive about it.
Correct. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I don't think that... I'm fascinated by that. I really had never thought about that before, that if he does come, and let's say he's good, but not great.
He's going to be good. He's LeBron.
Of course. But he's a guy that could...
But they lose in the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row to the Warriors.
There it is.
You're done.
It's like, okay, what am I coming here for? To make movies?
Or hell, I mean, let's say they get in the finals and lose. I mean, like, let's just say
that I think would temper it this much, maybe.
But it's still, though, it looks glaringly incomplete as a Laker.
Well, let's be honest.
Compared to all these other people you're going to go up
Let's
against.
say he shows up here for 3 seasons, maybe even 4, and wins a title. It's still going to look incomplete. I mean,
not if he gets one.
No, but the great Lakers.
But he's too far down the line. He's not going to be a great
I understand
Laker.
that.
Here's
the ones that you remember as Lakers, great Lakers, and maybe the conversation.
LeBron's a Cav.
Maybe the conversation's changed enough at this point, but I'm not even sure. Does he almost have to win 2 or 3 titles?
But here's where I'd say, though, if LeBron came to the Lakers and they win a championship, here's where I'll say that he can start looking, if not at Kobe's level or Magic's level, he'll be in a conversation among Laker greats. It's because he will have shepherded the Lakers from Kobe to this next era of having a title.
And it is undoubtedly more boss to win one here than in Philly.
Yeah. Oh, no question about it. No question about it. Selfishly speaking, this is where we all want him to come because it's good for all of us and the city and everything else. But if we're taking that off the table, I want him to go to Philly just for, again, selfish reasons.
Oh, the entertainment value.
Like. 113 to 102. We'll hear from Lonzo Ball. We'll hear from Luke Walton. That's coming up next, but not before we do the drive of the game, brought to you by LA Car Guy. Check out monthly specials and browse the inventory of all 11 LA Car Guy dealerships on one website, lacarguy.com. The drive of the game.
Frank Mason gets to the rim, throws it backwards to Buddy Hield. Hield runner in the lane, foul and a bucket, and exactly the opposite, Michael, of what you said needed to happen. The Lakers, instead of chipping away, give up 4 quick points, and Hield can make it 5.
Yeah, they're letting the Kings establish some momentum here the first couple of minutes of this quarter. Down 13, possibly 14 if this free throw goes in.
Buddy Hield with the drive of the game. We're back with more on the Land Rover postgame show on ESPN LA.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks. Black Friday's over, but not at Ace, where you can get big savings all weekend. Get up to 50% off select gifts throughout the store. Plus, save 50% on 300-count Celebrations LED Christmas lights, now just $9.99 after instant savings. And for even more savings, print out our online coupon to save $10 on your purchase of $50 or more. This weekend only at your neighborhood Ace. Coupon valid on November 25th and 26th. Limit 1. Exclusions apply. Lights offer valid for Ace Rewards members at participating stores.
America, it's time for some straight talk. Lobster is really just a fancy way to eat butter. Nobody wants to read the poetry you wrote in college, and guess what? That low-priced unlimited plan those big wireless carriers want to sell you, it's crawling with mystery fees, overages, and other nasty surprises. So it turns out those plans aren't so low-priced after all. But look, there's a better way. Straight Talk gives you unlimited talk, text, and data now with the first 8 gigs up to 4G LTE starting at just $45. That's way less with no contract. Plus, you don't have to worry about getting blindsided by mystery fees and overages. All on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks. Come on, it's time to stop being fooled. It's time to ask yourself, why haven't I switched? Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart.
Savings may vary. Please refer always to the latest terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com.
Sometimes the best seats in the house are above it. In college football, that's the Goodyear blimp. And for more than 60 years, we've seen what it takes to be worthy. It takes toughness, dedication, and perseverance. Because seasons aren't measured by wins and losses, but by heart. Some call it hard work, determination, or grit. We call it blimp-worthy. Goodyear, official sponsor of the college football playoff.
It's the Land Rover Postgame Show. Highlights from tonight's Lakers game and your reaction on the Lakers line.
Hi, this is Luke Walton on ESPN LA 710 and the ESPN app.
The Land Rover Postgame Show.
Your Southern California Land Rover retailers. Visit them for special lease and finance offers. Land Rover, above and beyond.
Once again, here's Travis Rogers and Andy and Brian Caminetti.
113-102, the Lakers lose to the Kings. The Universal Studios Hollywood star of the game is presented by Universal Studios Hollywood. Spend Christmas at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, November 24th through January 7th, only at Universal Studios Hollywood. Tonight's star of the game, Willie Cauley-Stein.
Cauley-Stein drives right down the middle and dunks on top of Randall, plus a foul. Lakers are too tired to stay with him. Randall is not slower than Cauley-Stein, but on that possession, Cauley-Stein drove left on Randall and dunked right on top of his head.
Thought Randall flat-footed. Randall thought he was going to hand it off, but he kept it.
And Cauley-Stein is having a monster game. He's got 21 points on 8 of 12 shooting.
Willie Cauley-Stein really is an athletic freak, isn't he? I mean, what is he, 7'1", and he can cover some ground.
Well, especially, particularly since he's got that imaginary parrot on his shoulder. That's him, right? Or doesn't he have a little buddy that lives on his shoulder, Willie Cauley-Stein, that he talks to all the time?
That's the first I've heard of. I'm intrigued by this. I want to know more.
You said, Travis, that you saw footage from playing high school football.
It's unbelievable. He was a 6'11" or whatever he was in high school, and he's a tight end or a wide receiver, and he's going over the middle and just crushing guys, not unlike what he did to Julius Randle in that clip.
I just picture a lot of their plays was just Willie running a route and then just pointing up. Just put the ball up. I got this.
Why not? Why not? Luke Walton, Laker head coach, speaking with the media after the game.
What did you make of tonight overall? What's your main takeaway?
It's tough to win on the road in the NBA, and I think we're still learning that. I thought our guys actually did a really good job as far as being ready on a back-to-back to start the game. We got our stops we needed. We were able to get out and run. We got some really good open looks, and we didn't make them. And then when, Sacramento started hitting some of theirs and made the little run that they went on at the end of the first, it just felt like we kind of fell apart and stopped trusting what we were doing. Didn't play with the same energy defensively, weren't making the same crisp selfless passes on offense, and then for the rest of the night we kind of were just scrambling to stay within striking distance.
What did you make of Brook Lopez, I guess, tonight and last night? It just seemed like he struggled after having the two prior games were pretty good.
Yeah, I think he struggled. He had a couple good looks early, and then might have taken him out of his rhythm a little bit. But I wanted Julius. I felt better with the Julius Zebo matchup. So, I went to Julius a little early to get to that, to try to speed our game up a little bit. And then again in the second half, so that could have thrown Brook off a little bit as far as just his rhythm. But he'll get his work in and he'll be ready to go when we get back at it.
So you get this rare 4-day break now. How would you evaluate just this opening chunk of the season?
They've been great. They've been really good. Competing, the effort, the practicing every single day, never giving in. I'm very pleased and proud of our group and the work that they've put in to this part of the season.
What do you want to accomplish in your 4 days? I know it'll be only 2 practice days, but what's the focus?
Well, the first part of the focus will be getting them rest, mentally and physically. We got a lot of young guys that have never done this before, and even guys that did it last year. Second, VI is playing huge minutes. He was coming off the bench for this, the first half of the season last year. So it'll be good for them to physically and mentally be able to shut it down for a few days. And when we get back, it'll be about cleaning up our shell defense, cleaning up our screening, cleaning up our boxing out, pretty much the basics of the game that we were doing a really good job of early in the season, and we've had a little bit of slippage as the season's gone along.
What have your feelings been on how you guys do in transition offensively?
I love the amount of opportunities we're getting in transition. I do not love the way we finish in transition. And more, the finishing, it's not so much the finishing, it's the turnovers in transition that keep me up late at night. But we asked for the opportunities. When we got to the season, we said, what can we be really good at? What are our strengths? And our youth and our ability to get out and run, and having a point guard like Zoe, transition basketball is what we wanted to do. So we know that there's going to be turnovers. I think our guys are good enough that those numbers should start coming down now. It's been a long enough time that we should be a little more clean in the way we do our transition game, but that'll be something we keep focusing on and addressing in film sessions.
Do you see that as a 2-step process? Like the first step is making sure you're getting those opportunities, and then now you go into the second
absolutely. So when we said we wanted to be a running team, I was quite aware of the fact that we were going to have a high number of turnovers. But now that we're kind of getting used to anytime we get an opportunity, guys hitting those lanes hard, it's time to really start taking care of the ball in those situations. I mean, it's about making a bounce pass instead of trying to throw an alley-oop. It's about taking straight line to the rim until somebody stops you. There's simple, there might not be flashy, and they might not get on SportsCenter, but they're effective ways of running a fast break. The tough part is we can talk about it and film it, but with the schedule in the NBA, it's tough to really drill transition basketball in practice with games every other day. But we'll have that opportunity on Saturday, so that'll definitely be something that gets worked on.
You think you'll get Larry Nance Jr. back for the next game out of the break?
I would expect he's back as long as there's no setbacks and he has good practices and he's full go.
I'm assuming you'll use those practices to figure out the lineup and all that.
Yeah, we'll make that decision sometime before Monday if he's back.
All right, that's Luke Walton speaking after the game, courtesy of Spectrum Sportsnet. The Lakers lose on the road tonight. They are now 8-11 on the season. They get a few days off before coming back to take on the Clippers at Staples Center, where they will be the visiting team. For Brian and Andy Kamenetsky, I'm Travis Rogers, and this has been the Land Rover Postgame Show on ESPN LA.
You've been listening to tonight's Land Rover postgame show.
Your Southern California Land Rover retailers. Visit them for special lease and finance offers. Land Rover, above and beyond.
Lakers basketball, presented by
Pizza Hut. Get a large 2-topping pizza with pizza delivered for just $7.99 when you order online. Only at Pizza Hut. Gardens Casino, featuring 220 flat-screen TVs, 24 California craft beers on tap, and an upscale bar and lounge with handcrafted cocktails. Located off the 605 and Carson Street. Please play responsibly. The Gardens Casino, best play in L.A.
In-N-Out Burger. That's what a hamburger's all about.
Universal Studios Hollywood. Spend Christmas at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, November 24th through January 7th. Only at Universal Studios Hollywood. LA Car Guide. LA Car Guide. Check out monthly specials and browse the inventory of all 11 LA Car Guide dealerships in one website. LACarGuide.com.
Get closer to Lakers basketball right here. The Lakers play here. ESPN LA 710 and the ESPN app. Get closer to the Lakers on KSPN Los Angeles. Hear every moment of Lakers basketball on ESPN LA 710 and the ESPN app. This is ESPN Radio Sports Center all night. From expert analysis, informative interviews, electrifying highlights, and breaking news, this is Sports Center all night on ESPN Radio and ESPNRadio.com.
The rookie experiment is over in Buffalo, for at least this week. The King gets stitches and then goes off. From the Intimate Studio number 4, I'm Jay Reynolds. Glad to have you along. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. This is the week, of course, that we pause and give thanks. And by we, I mean the bank, schools, and office buildings. When you're involved in the sports world, it's ramped up this time of year. NFL, college football, college hoops, NHL, NBA, and a couple of big helpings of storylines from the NBA on the eve of Thanksgiving on Wednesday.